All right. Well, that didn't take too long. You should be able to share it with them, okay? She said that they're booked right until 7. So I'm surprised that Lori would. She shouldn't do that. It's not her fault. Need a 15-minute gap, yeah. But she said they're usually done at 1:45. And if we don't mind her cleaning up the mat while we set up, then that's fine. So it should be okay. Alrighty. Well, hello everybody. There's a bigger crowd now this week. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 23 present, and 7 on Zoom. So that's 30 people. Right on. Hey, Bill. There's Bill Surplus is here. Right on. All right, well, we might as well get started. So a little bit late start to this kids group is apparently booked right until 7 every Wednesday. I'm surprised that the person that booked the place, Lori, booked them back to back like that. She knows that there's 30 people that show up. But anyway, EJ is her name. She said that they're usually finished at about 1:45 anyway. And so if we can just kind of discreetly come in while she's cleaning up, then it should work okay. So we're going here and it's only 5 minutes after 7, so it should be all right. Anyway, so there you go. So let's get to work. So tonight we're going to tighten up those jigs. We're going to practice those jigs a bunch of times and see if we can get it strong and a little bit faster. It'd be great. And then we're going to practice the tune we learned last time, which is the Morning Thrush. And then we're going to talk about Jenny's Welcome and see which version prevails. And I'd love to do the Seamus Ennis version because that means that the whole set would be Seamus Ennis, which is really cool. We could talk about them. We could talk about the wacky version, get a few laughs. Always good, you know? But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, so to start off with, why don't we start with a G major scale, since we're doing the 2 jigs that we're doing are E minor and G. And it'll be like that. I gotta sort out my spaghetti. There we go. Okay, I'm just gonna check my tuning. Oh, but I gotta tell everybody about this rosin first. So my friend Brian in my band, he got on this waiting list for a rosin maker from California. And 4 years he's been on the waiting list. And the guy, huh? Well, it was a special formula. So the specialness of this stuff is that they only harvest the tree sap when it's really hot. And it makes a difference to the viscosity of the tree sap and all this stuff, right? Anyway, it's pretty cool. So 4 years he waited, $200 a cake for the rosin. And despite his appearance and demeanor, he is a gentleman because he gave me one of them. And so there was 2 cakes. One was apparently more geared towards fiddle music, it's darker. And the other one is a recipe apparently used by Paganini, which would be late 1800s, okay? And it's from, the recipe is from Cremona in Italy, where Stradivari was from. Anyway, so he gave it to me, and I was very excited, and I took it out. And despite the cost, I still managed to drop it, and the bar went right away. But it only just chipped a little bit, so it's no big deal. But it is awesome, unbelievable rosin. I'm blown away by it. And it takes a lot to impress me with rosin, because I've tried almost every kind that there is. And I find them all kind of like fried chicken, like they all taste the same and give me heartburn. But my favorite is this French rosin, but I still have micro squeaks and stuff that annoys me with my playing. This stuff here was blowing me away last night, right away. So anyway, it's called Baker's. You can all have a little lick. Anyway, so I just wanted to tell you about it. This is what it looks like. It's got a little seal on it there. And the guy is called Baker, and it's bakersrosin.com if you're ever interested. But very good question, Earl. So usually when people have problems where they think they need more rosin on their bow, it's actually because they have too much on there. Too much rosin is a way more prevalent problem than not enough. I've only run into not enough a few times, right? Too much, I've run into lots and lots of times. So sparingly. I only have rosin my bow every 3 or 4 times that I play. And when I do, it's not much. Now, I'm going to show you. I just rosin last night, but it was a crazy session last night, an awesome session with lots of flute players. But I'm just going to show you what I usually do for rosining. So I drop it, and I pick it up. And then like this, and that's it. That's all I do to rosin my bow. Now, it depends on what kind of rosin you use, of course. The darker stuff is grabbier. It's stickier. And the lighter stuff is not as sticky, a little bit more forgiving. If you ever look at cello rosin or bass rosin, it's always very, very dark because they need that stickiness to pull that big string and rotate it over. Because I don't know if I've ever explained what happens to a string when you put the bow on a string. Have I ever explained that? Okay. I did a lot of deep diving because it's something that really fascinates me, how you get the good sound out of your fiddle and what you're doing. And when you put first of all, the horsehair, when I was a kid growing up, they said that the way that the horsehair makes the sound on the string is that it has millions of little hairs on it, and it somehow magically and mysteriously tickles the string and makes the sound. And so apparently that's all complete malarkey. It's not like that at all. And some eggheads have studied it and done a PhD, and it's not like that at all. So what it is that if you look at a piece of hair under a microscope, it looks like a snake with scales. And these scales, they look like that, and they hold the rosin. So apparently the hair does not make the sound at all. It's the rosin that makes your sound. And so when you put the rosin on the hair, all the little scales collect it and keep it there to make this kind of surface of rosin. And when you have the surface of rosin and you pull the bow along the string, it creates a slip grip cycle. So if you've ever been on a slide when you're a kid on your bare feet, you know that there's either slip or grip, right? You either stick or you slide. And so the rosin is the same way. So when you're pulling it along the string, it's sticking, grabbing the string, rolling it over, and letting it go with the slip. Slip, grip, slip, grip, slip, grip, slip. If you have 2 slips or 2 grips, you get a squeak. See that? And that's why you don't want to interrupt it. That's why a hesitating bow causes a squeak, or a push, because you're interrupting that nice cycle. See that? So when you get the nice rosin, if it's too grabby, then it still hangs onto the string. It doesn't let it go properly. If it's not grabby enough, then you don't get the rollover. See that? So that's how it works, and that's why rosin, you can kind of fine tune to a rosin that you really like. My dad always used Hydrosign Deluxe, Orchestra Deluxe, in a little red box, very dark. I think he used it because he always used the cheapest strings in the world. Dr. Tomastic Precision, they last for years, harsh, terrible sound, very tight, but on his fiddle, it was very distinctive sound. But I think that's why he used the really dark stuff, because those really tight strings need a lot of pull to get them moving. Whereas strings like mine, the canons, are very loose. They don't need as much. You got to be careful. See, so you're trying to ride the line. Anyway, so I've always heard the same way, and it's because of what I'm telling you. Yeah, when I get my bow done at Heinel, I get the deluxe, which is where they select all the hairs to be the same diameter. And it makes a big difference, especially for fiddle players, because when my bow comes up off the string and then comes in for a landing, if a bunch of the hairs touch first, then I interrupt this cycle and I get this kind of crunchy squeaky. So the deluxe rehair with the same diameter, I find makes a big difference. All right? Does that answer your question? So every 3 or 4 times, if you need it, you probably don't. And if you have too much rosin on your bow, like if you notice a big cloud or kind of a harsh sound, is the more rosin you got on the bow, the more kind of distorted your sound is going to be, raspy. Okay? So if you notice that, then you do the really precise move that Jerry Holland taught me years ago and lightly go like this on your pants. See that? Also on the strings of your fiddle, and I'm sure everybody's noticed that. The residue builds up, and then it's worse than ice. And some people have a special cloth, but us McDonald's rock it like this. See that? Well, every once in a while, you got to do that. Okay, that's enough talking. Let's get to the scales. Let me get my tuner going here. Where is my tuner? I need that. He's down here. Okay. All right. Everybody nervous about the tuner? I know. I understand. We were playing the session last night, and Brian asked me to play in B flat. So I was playing a bunch of tunes in B flat, and he was having trouble getting his guitar in tune. And then at one point, the tuner was on the table, and he was trying to turn it on. And when I was done, I said, "Did you just turn that on to keep your eye on me?" And he was like, "No, my guitar was out of tune." I was like, "Leave it on. Don't worry about it." Okay, here we go. G major. Ready, slow. Not bad. Let's try the arpeggio. Ready, slow. B was suspect. Both of them. Many B's. So let's do it all again, and let's have a mind to tightness, okay? So don't start your next note until your neighbor's starting your next note. We want to get this, we want to use these scales to become tighter as well as more in tune. So scale and arpeggio, better B's. Here we go. Ready, go. Okay, arpeggio, ready, go. Okay, definitely better B's, but still there's a little bit of jump in the gun going on. So let's increase the tempo a little bit. and see if we can stay together. One more time. Even better this time. Ready, 2, 3, go. Much better that time. Let's go even faster. Oh, even faster. Put it on here. Okay. Even faster. So kind of like this. Ready, 2, 3, go. Quicker. So our challenge is playing slow. We tend to kind of get ahead of each other when we're going slow, so we got to work on that. All right? Okay, shall we work on our jigs? Let's do it. So that's the Monahan and Granias. One of those Irish girl names that's like, your new girlfriend is this really, really pretty young one. She's gorgeous. Amazing eyes and hair and everything. Oh, really? What's her name? Grania. It's amazing. Or Dimphna. That's another one. That's another one. Believe it or not. Yes. Oh, look at that beautiful little Grania. Okay. Monahan. So maybe we should work on these separately and then put them together. So let's run the Monahan a few times, all right? How fast were we doing it? Anybody remind me? Approximately. Was it 60? Okay. So that's oh, that's pretty slow. 60 is pretty slow. Let's try up at 70. Yeah, let's start with that. Can't possibly hurt, right? If you think it's slow, try to play bang on in tune. Okay. Monahan jig. That's 70. 1, 2, 3, go. sync with the metronome? Which way did we go? Almost right away. So now let me put it up at 80 though, and see if we can stick with it then. I think that was more like what we were doing, it's 80, which sounds like this. Yeah, that's what we were just doing. So let's do it again and see if we can stay steady. Okay, use all your bow. That's the best way to keep from speeding up, is try to lengthen the bow. Use all of your bow instead of shortening. Okay, let's do it again. And feel that tempo. 1, 2, 3, and. Off we go again. Off we go again right away. Well, that wasn't right away. That was like an A part. It took an A part. So let's do it again. Lengthen the bow and listen to me. 1, 2, 3, and. Basically stuck right with the metronome the whole time, and it wasn't even that hard. How did it feel? Did it feel fast? Okay, that was 80. So for the people where it feels fast, practice it a little bit south of that, 75, maybe even 70, and then we'll try it again starting at 80 next time. Okay. so it doesn't feel so fast. How many people felt like it was too fast? So just a few. Okay, you can do it. I know you guys can do it. That's what I would suggest. How about here on Zoom? Anybody think that was too fast? Oh. Anybody think that was too fast? No. Nobody on. Oh, Bill Surfless said it was too fast, but he's playing the fiddle tonight, not the guitar. So that's pretty good there, Bill. Pretty good, man. Anyway, so there you go. That's what I suggest. Now let's take a look at the other one, the Granius. We'll start slow with this one. It's a bit of a challenge. It was played at the session last night, brought up by somebody or other. I'm just going to get it out so I don't. That's the one. Where is this tune? Oh yeah. Okay. Okay, shall we? Let's go nice and easy. I'm not going to turn I'm going to turn the metronome off and see where we're at. And let's do 2 pickup notes. Let's do a D and a C pickup note. Okay? A D and a C pickup note. Oh, you're right. You're right. We're just going to go right up the scale. Okay, a B and a C pickup note. Okay, a B and a C. Lovely B's and C's. 1, 2, 3, and. Anybody have any problems? It's a bit slow, but we can speed it up. Okay, let me check with the Zoom people. You like that speed? It's a nice speed. It's like reggae jigs. It's awesome. Now, how are the Zoom people? How are you guys feeling about that speed and that tune? Is it okay? Okay, good. Cool. So we'll try to do it a little faster, but let's put them together, shall we? I think we can do it. And we know what the pickup's going to be, so we're just going to give it a go. B and a C, yeah. Thanks to Don for putting them on one page, Don. Awesome. Zoom out. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's right. It's all good there. Okay. So the same speed then. We'll start off same speeds we just did. Okay. Here we go. Set of jigs. Monahan and Grandes. 1, 2, 3, go. thoughts and feelings? Needs to go faster. Some might disagree at this point, Darwin. But yes, it would eventually go faster for sure. Anybody having any problems besides just that, just keep practicing it? Anybody having anything they need clarification on or anything like that? It was a bit rough going into Granias, but we just started working on it. We'll get better at it. We'll take the theme and we'll practice that. And also there's a bit of a speed disparity. So Granias needs to go basically at this point slower than the Monahan. So when we kind of got into it at that tempo, it was kind of like, whoa, you know what I mean? So we got to strengthen that Granias to get up to the Monahan tempo so we can just kind of slide through it. Yes? Probably. I do tons of them. I'm always rolling, man. Let me see. The bar 12. Yep. 2 big rolls there. You see those little squiggles that are over top of the notes? It usually means roll, especially if it's on a dotted quarter note. I mean, it means ornament, but dotted quarter notes cry out for rolls because that's how long they take to go by. I would definitely do rolls there. Also, in the first tune, the Monahan, there's a whole bunch of double stops you can do for those that are inclined. So I noticed last night me and the boys were having a lot of fun with those. So that's the first one, of course, you can do there. That's just a straight E and a B. See that? Always tried and true in the key of E minor is an E and a B together, one finger. There's also the low B. So I hit that too. See that? And then there's this one. I hit that too. That's a G and a B together. Okay? And also for badness, I hit that one too. Just for a crunch. And I wouldn't mind if anybody did. But the E and the B are no-brainers. If you're looking for something to do in that first part, which you might be, there's also rolls. So that would mean you'd have to it would take up the next note, I guess, one note. Is that right? Yeah. So you'd roll over that whole thing there. And anyway, so there's options. I'm trying to think of where else I do stuff. Let me just go through it quick and you guys can tell me. Yeah, so in the endings, I often see the DCD there? That's crying out for a roll. That almost is a roll. All it needs is the high D or the high E to be a roll. See that? Yep. Yeah, except the timing. The first note should be a little longer for the roll. Okay? And anytime you see that figure in this music, you can pretty well guarantee you can put a roll there in a jig. So that's D, C, D. And then I also do it where it goes F, D, F. I was putting one in there too. And that would replace that whole triplet with a roll. And you can do it pretty well every time if you want. What else do I do here? Yeah, I'm rolling that too. So that's instead of playing G, E, like that, I play a roll. See that? It's pretty self-explanatory. You can do it or not do it. All these things are optional. But I think that's it for that tune. And Granias, we'll have to work up the speed before we get any ornaments in there. Okay? Because right now it's a bit of a struggle. Okay, why don't we take the scene and work on the scene? So let's do the last line of... well, actually, let's just do the last couple of bars. We'll just do that, okay? Last 2 bars of Monahan and the first 2 bars of Granias, or bar and a half, or whatever. Okay, here we go with the Monahan. Last 2 bars. Ready, go. Okay, ready, go. jump tempo when we get into Granias. Let's not let that happen. Let's make it even all the way through. One more time. Ready, go. That was lovely. Very nice and even. Let's do it again. Ready, go. That was really nice. Can you do it for me? Same thing. I'll count you up. Ready, go. Really good. One more time for me. Ready, go. Yeah, that's good. Let's see what the Zoom people think. Did you hear those guys do that? Wasn't that awesome? Hey? They're giving you the thumbs. Pretty good. Okay, so now let's try the set once more. Do your stretches. Fiddler roll out, whatever you got to do. It's the long tunes. We're going to do them twice each. Okay. So let's think back foot on the Monahan to give us a little headroom for when we get to Granias on the back foot. 1, 2, 3, go. So the prescription is working on Granius to get it a little bit faster, working on the transition a little bit, and generally trying to keep the Monahan from getting away from us. Okay? So slow practice at home. Anyway, break time. 10 minutes. 10 minutes there, people. We'll be back at 8 minutes after 8. Sharp! It's like the first night we spent in Scotland was at a B&B, and we drove all night to get there. We flew into Prestwick, and the ladies told us that breakfast would be at 7:30 sharp. And the next morning, sure enough, bang, 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 bang. And then she was so nice. Like, she dragged us out of bed, but then trotted out everything. Yeah, that's right.
Let me look at that right now, man. Oh,
There's more spaghetti there. What do you mean a case?
well, you said a case was $200.
No, 2 cakes. Cakes.
Oh,
$200 a cake
oh.
for one. So Brian paid $400.
Case.
No.
I thought maybe this is case or something. $200 for that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at it, it shines so beautifully.
I don't think I need it.
I'll show you. I'll do a comparison. So this is my.
I think my bike could do with other improvements.
Yeah, but improvements you can buy are really valuable. You know?
It reminds me of the joke about people who put titanium bolts in their bicycle. Right?
Oh, that's right. Same way.
You know, and they say, well, just eat a bit less and it's way cheaper. You know, titanium bolt costs $50 for some little bolt.
One less cheeseburger might do the trick.
Cheaper just a little.
Okay, so here's my sister-in-law's bow, and it's a good bow. It's never seen this rosin. Okay. I'll do it slower. Right away, eh? Smoother?
Yeah.
they say you're not supposed to mix it. The guy said if you start mixing it, it loses its properties. So that's why Brian was like, you can have this one. I'm never going to use it. Like, 'cause he's going to use the other one. See what I mean? So if you start mixing it, it doesn't work as good. So I'm not going to touch this bow with anything but this from now on.
Wow.
And I just got to rehair it, so it's a good time to do that.
You've had rosin on it before.
A little bit. I just got it done.
Well,
So I should be able to rub that out pretty soon.
yeah, that sounds,
But definitely worth it, eh? Definitely.
yeah. It must, it's your slipping thing. It's slipping in it.
Well, it's nice.
Because I have heard some guy on the internet talking about hairing a bow. I've been trying to learn how to hair a bow.
Oh.
Okay? I've made a jig and everything, made a few crude attempts, but he was saying different hairs he puts different hairs on a bow depending what you're playing.
Oh, yeah.
He has some that have more scales and some that have less scales.
Of course.
Yeah.
Now, you know, in Cape Breton, people always talk about getting the coarse there. I don't know why. I always thought it's raspier.
Yeah.
It gives you more sound, right?
Yeah.
Because there's more scales. But I find it raspier. But some people kind of like that. It's a bit of dirt.
Well, if you're playing it at dance, you want volume.
Yeah, but I never like to have volume at for
Yeah.
the expensive sound quality. You know what I mean? I want both.
Yeah, right.
So this is Rehearsal.
Chow Chow, it's a good one. Yeah, that's the standard. The guy, he's from New York, and that's what most orchestra players use. That's the standard go-to.
What's that one?
It's called Chow Chow. It's medium actually. If you know, if I hold it up to the light, like this is actually a little opaque. You see how you can see through the top of it? So the dark stuff that I was talking about, you can't see through it at all.
I've got some green stuff. Opera.
That's the grabby stuff.
It's a grabby stuff.
Yeah, it tends to be.
He has a tendency to drop it.
Okay.
Rosin. Bad for it.
Maybe I should be using the other stuff.
You know, you can mix them out, give it a try. You have to really get a feel for it.
Yeah.
It was years that brought me to what I usually use is called Melant de Roux. It's a French rosin. It's in the middle of dark and light, and it was recommended to me by Patrick Orchestra.
Oh, wow.
So I started using it, and right away I really liked it. So you got to try them out, see what you like.
Thanks.
No problem. Three more minutes. Back to work, people. Oh, you want to talk to the Zoom people too?
Hello, Zoom people. Hello, 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 hello. Oh, there's my friend Grant. Hi, Grant. Oh, and Val. Hi. While you're just getting yourself settled down, I gave most people flyers about our house concert with Cantrip. Some of you came last time. They are phenomenal. Yes, they are. They're absolutely great. And if you haven't been to a house concert before, it's a totally different experience, isn't it? You know, they sit right there. They're closer to us than I am to Elaine at the moment. And you get the chit chat back and forth, and you see what's going on and so forth. With COVID, we are a little, I hate to say it, we are a little short on numbers. I like to put a bottom in every chair because every penny that you donate goes to them. We provide you for some food and some drink, but every penny that you donate goes to the band. And these guys, I'm not sure where they all come from. Eric McDonald is from Boston originally, then moved, I believe, to Montreal. John Buse and the other guy, Dan, whatever his name is, they come from Scotland, and I think the guy who's coming with them, Alistair White, comes from Scotland. Do you know any of these names? No. But the thing is, you've all got the information. Just give me confirmation that you're coming, please, because if I end up with an empty seat, I try and find somebody else to sit in it. So hope to cross my fingers and hope you will all come.
All right. Go to Cantrip. It's going to be awesome. Okay, cool. So we'll leave the jigs for now, and we'll move on to our new tunes. We'll start by practicing the Morning Thrush. The Morning Thrush. Do a whole bird set. We played the Blackbird last night, too. It's a great tune. We played it with a tune called The Garden of Daisies, which is another set dance. I can't remember how it goes now, but it's a lovely tune as well. We'll have to get it sometime. All righty. So I'm just going to look up this tune here. The nice thing about the Morning Thrush is that it's not a really fast tune. And we're in the key of D. Good old James Ennis there. Love this tune. Shall we? All right. And let's go not too fast, people. It's a new one. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. for everybody? Is there anything that's giving you trouble? I'd like to go to the crayon on the second repeat. Nobody else did? Nobody else did. You hear that? Darwin says he did. Anyway, try to use that variation for the second time through the C part, okay? Where it says crayon. It's a great part. Go. So it's kind of nice and a bit of a variation, okay? Any other bits or pieces that anybody's having trouble with? Like to smoothen it out. Does it make sense to you? No? Anything in particular or just like in general? No, just in general. In general. Needs to go a little tiny bit faster as well. That might help. How about the Zoom people? Anybody having any systemic problems that I can help with? Or nothing a few hundred times won't solve? It's like that. Okay. All right, let's get a few hundred times in then. I think we should slow it down slightly because it sounds a little bit like people are grappling to keep up a little tiny bit. So let's slow it down slightly and see if we can keep it slowed down. Yes. Yep. A, B, B, C, C. Okay? Okay, little slower. Lengthen the bow. 1, 2, 3. Much better at that tempo. Everybody feeling better like that? Okay, so just to, try to strengthen it and get it a little faster. Okay, now let's start in on Jenny's Welcome. Jenny's Welcome to Charlie. Seamus Ennis. Okay. All right, so the two versions. So let's see here. Okay. So I'm going to play them. I'm going to attempt to play them side by side for you guys here. Okay, so that's Seamus's version. Yeah, we could do them both. And then regular version. Okay, so I'm going to try to play. Oh, whoops, never mind, Siri, we don't need you. I'm going to try to play both of them and see what people think. I mean, we could also do both of them. So I'm going to start with the regular one, and then I'm going to play Seamus's one. Oh, The regular, and it's beautiful and lovely. And here's Seamus's. Oh, sorry. Don't be afraid. They're just E flats. I think you should do both. I do not share that same experience, but I could understand what you're talking about. We do have guitars. that can do the droning. And a baron. Yeah, yeah. It's not exactly like the pipe drones, but it'll do it a pinch, I guess. Anyway, we can do both. So who wants to do both? Yeah. Now the question is, which one do we do first? So you want to go dark. So you want the clouds to come in and the thunder to start. Yeah, so well, I mean, yeah, so I think that's a great idea. That's what I was thinking too. So we'll do the regular Jenny's Welcome and then the Seamus Jenny's Welcome. Okay, let's start with the regular because the Seamus's version is just an expansion on it. That's all it is. So it's actually a simplification, you'll see. But anyway, let's start with the regular one and we'll get the melody solidly kind of in the old noggin. Is this the whole thing? Yeah, that's no, it's not. It's not the whole thing. Okay. So let me play this whole thing now, the regular one, a little bit on the slower side so everybody can get it ringing around your head. Oh God, it's a 2-pager. Okay. What's that? It does? Let's do it. It's a whole lot of the same. I don't know if you've noticed that, but it's kind of this D minor, kind of groovy, drony thing. So the first part, made up of a few phrases. And then you do it again, but different. See that? Then you do the first one again, kinda. And then you got this ending that you got to get used to. And then we're into the part again. See that? See how that works? So it's one of these same phrase 3 times, but different every time tunes. Okay? Let's get the first phrase. First 2 bars. Okay. 1, 2, 3, go. Let's do that again. Strong start is important. Ready? Go. One more time. Ready? Go. Now the second phrase goes down. Okay, and for the keeners, there's 2 E's there, crying out for a grace note. Let's give it a try. Second 2 bars. Ready, go. Let's do it again. Ready, go. One more time to be sure. Ready, go. phrase is almost exactly the same as the first phrase, except for the last few notes. So it starts the same. But then you got a long D, and then you're going to get ready for the ending. So let's get the ending. And this is the first ending. Let's practice the first ending. So this is going to be now, we're starting the last two notes of the second bar in the second line. A C and a D. It's in an up bow. 1, 2, 3. Let's do that again. Ready? 2, 3. Again, let's do it a few times if we're going to come against it again. Ready? 2, 3. Okay, and the second ending is just the E, E, D, D. Let's just try that. The second ending of the first part. Ready? Go. You see how that works? So lovely and simple. Let's do it again. Ready? Go. Okay, let's try out this whole first part now. Nice and easy. 1, 2, 3, go. Getting that okay? Yeah, it's a little unusual, but it's a beautiful tune. You can check with the Zoom people. How are we doing there, Zoom people? Any problems? Okay, great. Let's run it a few more times. Where did it go? There it went. Okay, let's do it like 4 times to be sure. Take the grinder to it. 1, 2, 3, go. Now, the second part, I always start with a big roll. Now, there's no C sharp in the music, but okay, I'm pretty sure those are C sharps. Let's go ahead and say they are, okay? No, the ones in that bar. The second bar of the second part, the C's should be sharp. Because then when we come back around later on it turns into a C natural. See that? And that's kind of how I always played the tune. What's that? We always play an A major there instead of an A minor. Okay, in that bar. Yes, in that bar. Yes, the second bar of the second part, C sharps and A major for you fellas. In that bar. There's only two. Yes. Like that. And then after that, it switches to the C natural. For most of the people that I play with, anyway. Because it's kind of what that part's selling. So. See how that works? Okay. Yes, I am. Yep, good point, Bill. The C that's in the third bar is also sharp. Okay. It's an accidental, like it's a passing tone, so it doesn't really matter. Moment of crunch is beautiful. Okay, so let's see if we can get these phrases. It's the same, we're following the same principle of phrase, phrase again different, ending. It's exactly the same. So let's get the first phrase of the second part. Okay, big roll on the F if you're able. 1, 2, 3, go. Not bad. So you see those three phrases there. The first one ends with a. The second one ends with a. See that? And then the third one ends with. So it's three pretty distinct tails on those phrases. That's how you keep them straight. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, go. Good. I'm hearing those two C sharp, C natural. Yes. Yep. Yeah. And this version, they should be there. You see, there's F sharps marked in on all the other Fs, but there should be on this one too. Yeah, no, it should be F sharp. F sharp for sure. In this part, the high F sharps there, they're sharp. The part that we've just been playing for the last 5 minutes. The second part. The first note of this first bar of the second part, put a sharp next to it. Or a hashtag, as the kids call it. And also the third bar, the two sharp Fs there, put hashtags on them. And the first bar of the fourth line as well. We did it already, because that's the way I played it, so it was kind of in people's heads. Yeah, it feels good. Feels right. Should we do it again? We've cleared that up? Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, very, very good. So it's sounding pretty good. Now, the third part. So. It's a long phrase. You hear that? That's one big long phrase there. I find this to be a tricky part. So that whole phrase again, I'm going to play the whole thing again. Okay, let's give that a go. It's a little bit meandery, so we just got to kind of slam it in the head. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, let's do that again. Just make sure it's solid. Ready, 2, 3, go. Now, when it changes, got this lovely ending. So let's see if we can get this ending, okay? The last 2 bars of this part. Yum diddly diddle diddle. We'll have to have a chat about chords too, because these chords don't seem right. Yeah. I think it's a D. And then a C. And then back to D. Same with the C. And then you could go to your A minor. That would work. So switch those A minors to Ds and see if that works. Yep, just the part that we're working on right now. Yeah. And that could be a G too, but we'll see what C is like. Yeah. Anyway, let's try it again here, guys. Oh, we're getting the ending. We're getting the ending. So, last 2 bars. Ready, slow. Let's do it again. Ready, 2, 3, go. Oh, that was nice. And for the keeners, there's 2 grace note opportunities. I hope you're seeing them. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, go. That is such a pipey ending. It's just something a piper would do. Now let's try to do that whole part and keep it all straight. The those 2 lines. So this is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th line. Slow. With these. 1, 2, 3, go. I like the C. It could be a G, but the C is nice and mysterious, so I'd rather it. Let's do it again. You guys are getting good too. Ready, go. Sounds really good. Let's grind it. Let's do it a couple of times. I just realized I forgot to check in with Zoom. How's everybody doing with that there, Zoom people? Any problems? Oh, we're all good. Okay, let's grind this part a little bit, guys. Okay. Let's do it, say, 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and. And this is, again, one of those three times through the phrase, but it changes. So the first time is... okay, and then the second time is... and then the third time is a lot different. And the ending is familiar, right? You're getting that? So let's see if we can do these two phrases in the first line of the last part, which is on the next page for those of you that has a 2-pager. So A, D, D, C, D. Ready, 2, 3, slow. Okay, let's do that again. Let's strengthen it up because it sounds good. And remember, there's grace note opportunities. Ready, and. One more. Ready, go. Okay, now this queer little thing at the end. Let's just get those 2 bars and try your best to get those rolls in there. First 2 bars of the last line. Ready, and. do it again. Ready, go. One more time. Ready, go. Now the ending. So it's pretty straightforward. Okay, that's the first ending, 2 big Ds. And the second ending, we go down so we can start again. Then we play the tune again, right? So let's do it with the first ending. So the last couple of bars of the tune. Ready, go. Oh, nice, nice. You're getting pipey. Let's do it again. Ready, go. One more time to be sure. Ready, go. Very good. Now let's do the whole part. And let's do it both times. The first ending and the second ending. Okay? 1, 2, 3, go. Sounds great. We'll do it one more time to be sure. Ready, 2, 3, go. How's everybody feeling? Is it okay? Yeah, I'll check with the Zoomers. Zoomers, how you doing? Not bad? You okay to try doing the whole thing? Okay, yes, there we are, up for it. Let's do it. Huh? We could just watch the screen. Father's silent. Okay. All right, limber up. We're going to do it. Here we go, not too fast. 1, 2, 3, go. Now this week, practice this tune, get it solidly in your head, and have a mind to the other version as we do it. Because the other version is just a few differences from this one, you know. I mean, they're important differences, but it's the same basic melody. So that's what we'll work on next time. And we'll also work on learn some new tunes. I was thinking about barn dances. Has anybody ever heard of barn dances? Couple people. So here's a barn dance. It's Irish, usually Irish. Okay, so here we go. What do you think? Shall we do it? Completely different, right? Completely different. Anyway, so that's what we'll do next time. A couple of barn dances. These are Irish barn dances. Yeah. That's what they sound like. They all have that same rhythm. And it is a dance. I played for the dance before. It's a Kaylee, basically. Oh no, yeah. It was new to me. Kind of like that, yeah. Okay, you hear all those plans there, Zoom people? So practice Jenny's Welcome, this version, this week, with a mind to the other version. See what the differences are. See if you can discover on your own. And then next week we'll learn it. And we'll also make a start on those nifty little barn dances. You guys like those too? Yeah? Everybody like those? Great. Okay, that's what we'll do. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you next week.